So we are hearing now that Hasbro never wanted Power Rangers. That was never their plan to have them. That was Brian Goldner, the CEO that passed away a couple years ago. He was the one with the vision for Power Rangers. He wanted movies, TV shows, animation, different types of toys all over the shelves. But when he passed, that idea sort of passed with him. Before we talk about that, I actually wanted to talk about something that came up with Jinsaku on Twitter. Again, I know you guys are saying, do not listen to everything Jinsaku says, but the thing is, like, he just said this thing about, Hasbro moving on from Netflix and they're finding a new partner. And that's exactly what everybody was able to verify that was true. That Hasbro is no longer working on making that reboot with Jenny Klein and Jonathan Entwistle. So I want to talk about what he just talked about recently. So he said that Hasbro and Netflix had a deal where they were going to make the Jenny Klein, Jonathan Entwistle reboot, right? Hasbro came to them with renegotiations for the contracts after Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury, Once and Always, and that Netflix basically said, or Hasbro said, that they have a new idea that they want to do with Netflix. And Netflix saw that idea and they said, no, we don't want to do it. We wanted the Jonathan Entwistle. We wanted the Jenny Klein project. And he kind of left it at that for like a day or two. But he came out with more information a little bit later on. And he said that basically that the idea that Hasbro told Netflix was they wanted another show that was just like what they had been doing with Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury, and it probably being Mighty Morphin starting over, but like kind of like a low budget, very much for like the 4-year-old, 8-year-old age group. But what they had been promised was the Jonathan Entwistle, Jenny Klein reboot, and that reboot was going to have like suits that look like TokuJay. They were going to have like the production and cost wise like around the 2017 Power Rangers movie. And basically what it came down to is Hasbro decided that they didn't want to spend that amount of money on a reboot, and they wanted to make something cheaper. And that's why Netflix walked away. So this whole thing was actually all about renegotiations and Hasbro re-upping their contract with Netflix for Power Rangers in particular. And Netflix saw Hasbro's plan to just keep making the same old thing and starting over with Mighty Morphin, and Netflix was like, nah. And that's the idea that Hasbro apparently is shopping around looking for a new partner, is basically a new show, Mighty Morphin probably, and it basically being the same kind of show that we've had for the last 30 years and not really evolving or turning into everything else, and no longer using Sentai as adapting from Sentai. So basically like severing their tie with Toei and everything like they have been. And that is what Netflix passed on. And that is just, it just seems like they're not learning from what is going on, and they don't want to put any more effort or any more resources into Power Rangers, which is really, really true. So now this is why we're getting to the issue of why they're going to basically probably sell off the media rights. So basically the ability to make TV, movies, and animation to another company, to another studio, to make it themselves and basically minimize the risk. Because it's very apparent that Hasbro does not want to spend any resources unnecessary on Power Rangers. They want everybody else to take the risk while they profit. And I don't know. I know people are talking about like, why don't they just sell? Why don't they just sell? And the idea is like, they spent $500 million on Power Rangers. So for them to sell, they would have to take an acceptable loss for that. And I don't think they're willing to do that, because what Hasbro seems to be doing lately is trying to cut costs to save money. And they already sold off E1, and they sold that one off for pennies to the dollar and lost a lot of money on that. So I don't think they're going to do that with Power Rangers as well, at least not in the immediate future. They may sell off Power Rangers in the future, but I wouldn't know who they would to. And everybody's like, give it back to Saban. And I was like, I don't think that's the right answer either. And people are like, Disney already had their chance. I don't know if they would even like consider it or even want it. So as far as the buyer, I would have no idea who the buyer might be. Maybe it's like Playmates, since they're already kind of like working with it, or maybe it's the studio company that's going to eventually get the media rights as well. So Josh from Toku Topics actually gave us some more insider information, and he, as you guys know, like he was really heavily reporting the Lightning Collection. He was the one that came out with most of the leaks that were coming off the Lightning Collection, and then he announced last year in 2023 that the line was going to end. And when he announced that, he said that he got a lot of people that either formerly worked for Hasbro or like were insiders and kind of whistleblowing a little bit. That's he got this text from this person saying that they never wanted Power Rangers, that this was all Brian Goldner's vision. That when he bought Power Rangers, he never really like consulted the R&D department at Hasbro. And since then, Hasbro has been trying to justify the cost of buying Power Rangers, and they're basically like making excuses for the cost of it. But when Brian Goldner died, like that vision died with him, and Chris Cox, who is the current CEO, doesn't really have a plan for Power Rangers, and that is really apparent now. So, Josh has always been pretty much on the up and up. So I really think this is like good, valuable information that Hasbro never wanted Power Rangers, and it just seems like so like apparent and kind of like not surprising. You know what I mean? Especially the way they kind of treat it like their ugly stepchild. Like I don't understand like where they see themselves going with it and them licensing it out in the next year. And we'll start from the beginning, from ending at Cosmic Fury and not really having a plan besides the reboot that didn't really go anywhere, ending the Lightning Collection, ending its presence in stores, and then starting to licensing out its properties to other companies. And we've seen it like through 3-0C before, but like really upping that with Super 7 as well. And then now with Playmates, and now we're getting these reports that, Hasbro wants to sell off the media rights as well and find a new partner. And what they, like I said, what they want to do is they want to find somebody else to pay the bill. And that way they can just kind of like live rent free for Power Rangers. I don't know what to think about it anymore. It's just like, it's so weird. Like I have my favorite franchise and it's like stuck in a purgatory right now. It's a purgatory. Like there is nothing happening with it right now that is substantial. We had the video game that was announced and I was like, okay, we're like baby steps. Like it's so good that we're getting somewhere with that. And then like we get this new news and then we get these insiders kind of coming out and talking about like, this is not something they want to do. And like I've said before, like, this Chris Cox guy, like he's coming from the gaming side of the industry and he's more interested in video games and Magic the Gathering cards and that stuff because it's low cost, minimal risk, and it's going to do well and what things he knows it's going to do well. I know video games cost a bit, but like trading cards, like really, like they're super valuable and they probably cost like 25 cents to make. It's just being realistic about that. But yeah, I really don't know what to say beyond sort of this stuff other than like, hopefully we do get something. So hopefully what I really, really want to happen is for a company or movie studio to pick up these media rights and to really care about it and to really say like, hey, this is what we want to do with it. We're willing to invest in it, and they make the franchise near to what it was in the 90s. Like that would be amazing, like for it to be popular on a global scale, right? But the thing is, if Hasbro is saying to these companies like, we want you to make our idea instead of coming up with your own idea that you think you would really be passionate about, I think that's really going to stifle the franchise and probably really halt it. And I'm really concerned about not getting any new media for like the next 4 to 5 years. That's being realistic of where it is. It'd be amazing if we see something within 2 years. That would be like if they got like a deal done today and getting started production and everything like that. But I think being realistic, we may not see anything until like, I don't know, 2028, 2029, more than likely 2030, which, yeah, but then again, maybe it's good that Power Rangers takes a break, and we get kind of a reset on it, and then come back strong and an idea. Because right now, like especially with audiences, how they're picking apart things like Star Wars and Marvel, maybe that's not a good idea right now for it. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know about these things. It's kind of crazy. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think this insider information is accurate? Are you still hopeful that Hasbro will do something with it? Or are you just kind of waiting for a new company to maybe swoop in and say Power Rangers? Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and you know what time it is. It's Morphin time.